Welcome to this video about metallic bonds and how are they different than ionic bonds. This is part of chapter 7 section 3. Now since this is a whole different type of bond, you don't really need to have watched the other two videos in order to do this one. So that's kind of good. But this video is working on target 3. So by now we should have finished targets 1 and 2, and we're going to work on target 3, and that's describing the arrangement of atoms in metallic bonding and how they're used to make alloys. So what is a metallic bond? Well, a metallic bond is a bond that holds metals together. Okay, surprising, right? They are formed between free-floating valence electrons in this sea of electrons model and their positive metal ions. So it's a bond between valence electrons and a positive metal ion. Keyword here being metal. Okay, how does that look? So if we were to look at the sea of electrons model, if this was a piece of metal, let's say it was a bunch of gold atoms, okay, so each one of these red things was gold, okay, the metal cation right over here would be bonded to other metal cations because these positives are attracted to the negative valence electrons that are surrounding it in this sea. Okay, the way that I like to think of it is kind of like a world with islands. So we have a bunch of green islands that are your metal cations, okay, and then the valence electrons are the water in between them. Okay, and so here these metal cations are attracted to these electrons, which are also attracting other metal cations. Okay, and this sea of electrons model. So each little island is bonded together with different valence electrons that are surrounding it like water. Okay. What are the properties of metals? Well, they conduct electricity, and that has to do with the sea of electrons. Okay, that water that goes between them. They're malleable, they're quite flexible, and they're ductile, which means you can hammer them into a different shape. What do we use metallic bonds for? Because we have to talk about metallic bonds, we probably should talk about what we use them for, and we use them to make alloys. Okay, and their alloys are mixtures of one or more metals with maybe non-metals or other metals. Okay, so basically the keyword here, alloys are mixtures, and we make them because they're usually stronger than their individual components. The other keyword here is that we make them. You won't find alloys in nature just by itself. Okay, humans make them because they're stronger than their individual components. For example, brass was something used a lot in medieval times for weapons and armor and things like that. Now we kind of use it for pottery or plates and pans and stuff like that, but it's a combination of copper and zinc. So it's a metallic bond between copper and zinc. Another big example is bronze. Okay, and that's a combination of copper and tin. But in this case, this is 7 parts copper, 1 part tin. But it's still a combination between those two things. Okay, on page 212 of your textbook, there are 3 other examples of alloys and what they're used for. I have a deer for you. Okay. Okay, I have to add that little part. Bring one example of an alloy from home as part of a show and tell tomorrow, and I'll give you an extra credit point. Okay, but you have to look at the ones from page 212. And that really quickly ended our video. So we were able to describe the sea of electrons model with the arrangement of atoms, and then also talk about why we use them to make alloys. Okay, so if you want to do that dare, go for it. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.